Lonnee Rey here, reading encouragement for the late bloomer. If you've ever gotten the feeling you're doing it wrong, that you don't measure up somehow, or you seem to be slow on the draw while everyone else crossed the finish line years ago, if you think you should be XYZ, but you're somewhere else, mid-alphabet at best, don't beat yourself up. The timing of your self-expansion does not run according to a societal time clock. Yeah, but oh, I hear you more than you know. Running late is my cardio, and being a late bloomer appears to be our destiny, dear. Hopefully, you will find it encouraging to realize it still works out. Life still works out. It waits for you to be where you are and helps you get where you're supposed to be next. Quote, unquote, I allow my soul self to guide me perfectly, to alter what I created and magically manifest the soul's wishes. I didn't have my first childhood until age 36 when I discovered progressive house music, raves, 52-inch bell-bottom skater pants, and platform sneakers. Once I hit the dance floor doing my signature dance move, the running man, there was no mistaking it. I wasn't somebody's mom. I was a late bloomer having the time of my life. I wore those gigantic skater pants and sneakers to do my first paid speech, too. Didn't think twice about it. It was my favorite outfit, and I confidently took the stage to inspire them with hope and enthusiasm for their future. Great talk, they said. If you can dress like that at your age, so can we. What an inspiration. Huge applause. Oh, okay. Wait. How old do you think I am? I was 36. I couldn't see past the toes of my stripper shoes back then. Go ahead, laugh. It was the best S&M sales and marketing job I ever had. A default move. Joining my friend in a topless club seemed better than the retail gig at JCPenney. I had nothing left to lose, so to speak. She was 31, so I figured, why not try it? And so at age 32, and for the next 8 years, more off than on, I danced for dollars. The day shift was easy. No booze, no cheesy t-shirt sales. The guys came in for a free burger, and I was their shake. They liked having a real woman to talk to instead of a kid younger than their own daughter. My first job fired me. I was lousy on stage. Thought it was my chance to be a thriller video dancer. Oh well. It was obvious I'd never set foot in a club in my life, so they set me free. Oh my goodness. My thing wasn't fancy pole tricks. It was all I could do to prance around and smile. And when my smile went away, so did I, taking months off at a time to process decades-old depression, heal childhood wounds, and study metaphysics. Since the club didn't keep a schedule, it was the perfect job. No one told me that the typical dancer quits working before she hits 30. Who knew? Most of the girls were older, so it seemed normal. Isn't it funny how, unless somebody tells you, quote unquote, the rules, their rules, you're fine with following your heart? I'll never forget my father, quite literally the night he passed away. In his final thoughts, said, you could have been something. My heart sank. First off, I'm not done yet. But damn, man, just because I did life like Pippi Longstocking instead of being a corporate drone, just because my thirst for travel took me all over the place on one-way tickets, just because I didn't, did, didn't do what? It didn't matter. So many thoughts ran through my mind. Tears filled my eyes, and I was done. In his eyes, I was a loser since the day I graduated culinary school 30 years prior. My lip quivered as he repeated his declaration of disappointment over my life. He wasn't the only one dying on the spot. You could have been something. You could have been on Fox News. Oh, okay. This from a man who just told me 55 was still young and that I had so much life ahead. I wasn't feeling young at 55, let me tell you. And now that I'm over 60, I can tell you 55 is young. Enjoy it. 60 is different. Anyhow, coming from an 85-year-old, I could totally see his point. But here's the rub. And hey, maybe he was letting me down gently. I was once pretty enough, young enough, and sharp enough, qualified, quote unquote, qualified to be a host on national television, Fox in particular. That he hoped it for me was news to me. You'd think he'd have been proud, asking me to recite all my funny show titles to him since I'd already hosted multiple TV, radio, and podcast talk shows by then. You'd think he would have said something else. I got to work in film and television. Actor, site chef, makeup, wardrobe, prop procurement. I got to be a featured guest on 2 national talk shows, Steve Harvey and Tyra Banks. Recovered from a drug-centered lifestyle, homelessness, and domestic violence. Worked 3 years managing a chiropractic clinic in Australia. Was a private yacht chef for folks like the Ethel Kennedys. Built a unique promotional advertising company. ... But no, no, none of that mattered. I could have been, should have been something else. Oh, okay. It's like that, huh? Oh, okay, Dad. I let him know that dying was easy based on a near-death experience I had at 12 years old and said goodbye for the last time. It was the first time he actually said, I love you, out loud. Don't get too teary-eyed. While it is sad, I'm pretty sure the narcissist in him was trying to cover his tracks before he hit the pearly gates. Parental expectations are another reason we can feel like failures for being late to the party. If you were forced to grow up too early, to parent your siblings, or look after your parent or parents, your growth pattern is different. I wrote about this in Life Lessons Learned from a Lousy Mother, if only to provide comfort to those who did not have June Cleaver for a mother either. The upside of an upside-down upbringing is that later in life, you get to sort out issues as a more mature person. If quote-unquote late bloomer comes with the territory, so be it. Don't let their stuff become a pair of cement shoes you wear for the rest of your life. Okay? Why do they act like that? Who knows? Delete the need to understand. Here's a quote, comparison is the thief of joy. I was so excited to be invited on as a guest on Miracy's Making It podcast. Miracy, a multi-million-dollar coaching and training company, was just carving a niche in the podcast arena. I was so stoked until I looked at the guests before me. Their titles and achievements made me feel so small in comparison. No way did I feel qualified to speak about making it. Huh. Who was I to say a word when I was struggling every month? From my POV, a 50-something late bloomer with a tiny income developing another big idea did not qualify. I should have more by now. Sound familiar? Had I, quote unquote, made it? What did that even mean? By whose standards? Does still fogging a mirror qualify? I should just cancel. They should let someone else have my spot. I never should have said yes. What the hell am I going to talk about? All the near hits I nearly had? What value could I possibly have for their audience? All I'd done was live by the seat of my pants, doing unconventional jobs, best described as A professional tumbleweed who, inspired by a beach towel, shucked convention for adventure. And recover. Yeah. Decades of personal growth studies done in an attempt to undo the damage. I only ever wanted my transmutation, Debbie Downer turned Tigger, to matter. My biggest goal was to someday return with a lantern and a laugh and show others the path. Nice idea, but I didn't have a class, a group, a high-ticket item to pitch, a clever tip sheet to build an email list, or a freebie for the audience. Oh dear. Just recounting all of this for you makes me wonder why I ever said yes. Honestly, after our 45-minute interview, I fully expected an email equivalent to, "Dear late bloomer, interesting life, but we decided not to air your show." See? See how we discount ourselves? It's familiar. We bought into societal and parental bull about how we should be, by when, doing God knows what just to satisfy God knows whom. Ah. They were so kind in rushing the production, and in a matter of days, this email came from the host. "Hi, Lonnee. After doing more than 100 interviews, this is the one I always hoped I would get, the one I've looked for all along. You didn't push a book or a business, you just shared your journey. And yes, it has tremendous value. Thank you so much." Whoa, Nelly. This 7-minute interview still makes me tear up. It took a lot to get here. I think you'll enjoy it. The website is Official Rattled Awake. And it's at the top of the About page. It's only 7 minutes. I think you'll enjoy it. So how often do you talk yourself out of stuff because you think you lack expertise, letters behind your name, or other stamps of approval you should have by now? Keep in mind some of those heavily degreed people can be real ninnies. Still, as a late bloomer, I know what it's like to wonder if you will ever, quote unquote, make it. But let me ask you, by what measure are you grading yourself? Are you recognizing your power to transform, to manifest the things you want? Look around you right now, please. Pick any object as your focus. I'm looking at a piece of equipment I own, a top of the line $350 dehydrator. A dehydrator was never on the vision board. YouTube University was where I learned that a dehydrator will preserve fresh food quality and retain nutrient value best. Oh, okay. But there was no way in hell I had $350 to spend on one. It didn't matter. The item was sold out everywhere. Quote unquote, everyone wanted this dehydrator. Then, out of the blue, I was led to a local classifieds listing. Dozens of people were lowball bidding on it. I thought, how insulting. It's already priced way below market value. What is wrong with the people? I was so excited to see she hadn't sold it and happily paid her asking price of $99. The owner was so grateful someone understood the value, someone who would appreciate her beloved device, that she threw in all sorts of other pricey items for free. As I drove home that day with this monstrous machine strapped into my passenger seat, I thought, what are the odds? "Oh, that's fine for you, Lonnee, but that stuff doesn't work for everyone," a friend said. "Oh, really? If you needed celery, you would go to the store and get it. And in no time flat, ta-da, you will have manifested celery." "Oh," she said, "never thought of it that way." The perennial cheerleader in me said, "See, you can do it too." Now, back to that thing I asked you to focus on. How did it get there? What had to happen for you to see that item in your reality? Did you find it immediately, or did it take some digging? I found a radio show opportunity by asking around. It led to meeting and attending many of the Speak and Write for Millions weekend workshops hosted by Mark Victor Hansen, my show guest and co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. What are the odds? Here's a very profound story beyond what are the odds. This one is truly baffling. Someone found under-eye concealer on the bottom of the ocean and gave it to me, of all people on the cruise ship, because she heard I was on the hunt for it. Wait, hold up. She dove to the bottom of the cove to investigate a shiny object? It turned out to be under-eye concealer? It was fresh and it matched my skin tone? Yep. I used it for a year and then got more. That was 30 years ago. Yet I keep a tube of it on my desk as a reminder that miracles can and do happen when we seek in spite of the odds. That thing you focused on didn't just pop into your reality. You brought it there. Focus on another object. Track its origins, its journey to you specifically, and acknowledge your ability to create, to make visible that which you held in mind over time. And why do this? Because it's too easy to focus on what you feel is missing and then berate yourself for being slow, late to the party, or missing that make it happen gene. Acknowledging your innate and God-given ability to make things happen is going to uplift you when things are not happening fast enough. Doubting yourself has got to go. You are more powerful than perhaps you know. And we get caught up in the but how? Stay focused on the what, and the how will make itself known. In 2022, and in my late 50s, I was chosen over 100 applicants to ghostwrite what became Kickin' Karma's ass. A late bloomer, perhaps, but I'd just made more money doing what I love than ever before. As you can imagine, I was ready to do it again. Within months of producing the book, I had a terrible accident. Not only did I sprain my entire arm and hand, I also broke my wrist in 2 places. It was hard enough to find a spot to put my broken arm, a severely bruised tailbone preventing sitting for very long as well. Then 2 more re-injuries occurred to the same hand and arm, along with a torn shoulder, for good measure. As a late bloomer being dealt some really crappy cards, the feelings of disillusionment were immense. Here we go again. Now what am I going to do? Is this shit why I was saved? Just to go through more agony? What the fuck, universe? Have you ever had this happen to you? It's rough. You question everything, wonder what the point is, and often, why bother? These are perfectly normal, by the way. No, it isn't a pity party. It's the truth. When you fall, it hurts. Have those feelings, or risk having them show up later in life when you least expect. Pester, fester, boom. Is there ever a good time for boom? Burying difficult emotions is like drinking poison. Feel the rage and then turn the page. Here's one of my favorite one-liners, that acceptance is the key to peace. It wasn't easy to accept life on these new terms, let me tell you. Try washing dishes with one hand. Pulling up your pants, socks, and attitude takes work like you've never imagined. Washing your hair, drying off, even putting on body lotion is extremely difficult with one hand. To cut carrots, each one was held steady, sort of, using my elbow. Lemons were an impossible task. They're round, they roll, and I'm pretty sure my elbow was sweating bullets. A trip to urgent care was not on the menu. Here's another one of my one-liners. I am divinely guided, connected, and protected. Go now, here! My intuition was bossing me around, insisting I go to the Goodwill. What am I here for? I stood in the main aisle looking like a lost soul. Go to the appliances section. There on the back shelf was an electric knife in perfect condition at 50% off. Cheap thrills. I've never seen an electric knife at a thrift store before or since. What are the odds? I hope you never ever have to go through this, but if you do, if life derails you or people disappoint you, try saying this in your mind. Oh, okay. It's like that, huh? Oh, okay. And if it's done right, it will make you laugh. Acceptance is the key to peace. So now what? Focus and affirm with all your might and post this somewhere visible. I now bring forth considerable ideas, wealth, and accomplishments which have not yet been attained before. Yeah. The beauty of being a late bloomer is you have life experience. No matter what you try next, you bring experience to it. So what if you're new in a business? So what if you never tried to write a thing? Doesn't mean you can't do it. So what if you are older? As Dr. Marilyn Scott pointed out in her chapter, you are enough. In her 60s, when she got it, this 72-year-old rebel shows no signs of letting it go. I am so grateful to the man who gave me a shot as an editor years ago, then saw my real talent as an intuitive story development editor. It came in handy when creative differences prompted my solo venture into uncharted territory. Relying on historical evidence and how it's always worked out fuels each step. You don't have to know everything before you start, honey. With 16 best-selling anthologies since the fall, 16 months ago, no one could be more shocked. Hear that, Dad? The creation of chapter books was never on my radar. Neither was teaching others how to take a chapter from their lives and bring it to life through impactful short storytelling. I love doing story development and look forward to another full-blown ghostwriting job again. In the meantime, producing mini memoirs such as Life Lessons Learned from a Lousy Mother and more recently Lafayette Mitchell's Poker, a Woman's Game is a ripper of a good time. Delight in your own power to transform. Dear reader, you are not late. There is no timeline for the fulfillment of your destiny. Stay curious, try new things, and gather wisdom as you go. You too might be surprised how all you have been through becomes your advantage, your gift to the ones you are meant to serve. The beauty of being a late bloomer is yours to define. What have you learned over time? What can you bring to the table that no one else has? The answer is obvious. You. I pray for your peace and wish you profound happiness on your path, always and in all ways. Then there's an image, quote, everything in the world exists in order to end up as a book. And Lonnee Rey invites you to join her no matter where you are in your writing journey. Her writer's circle, anthologies, and book coaching are all a transformative experience with a track record of success. As a late bloomer, she brings a wealth of life experience into every person's life and delights in making their dreams a reality. She is on a mission to encourage everyone to find their voice and share their insights before it is too late. Visit officialrattledawake.com, click on the Writer's Circle tab. And finally, remember this. It is amazing what you can do when you don't know you can't.